Make the most of the last weeks of summer and keep your car ready for every mile ahead. Stop by Valvoline Instant Oil Change for a 15-minute drive-through oil change. Stay comfortably in your vehicle while trusted technicians change your oil and check your tires, lights, and essential fluids. No appointment ever needed. Just drive in and get back on the road. Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Visit BayAreaOilChange.com for coupons. That's BayAreaOilChange.com.
All right, welcome back. Today we are talking about the king of pop, Michael Jackson, who seems to be on trial forever because of all of the allegations that have come out throughout the years, starting from when he held out the baby from the balcony in Berlin.
Well, it's not like allegations of him being nutty started then. I mean, there were always allegations of him being, strange, off. And then once it got to, there may be like sexual things with children, that's when people started saying, oh, wait, this is beyond just this guy being anymore. Like a little weird, a little, a rock star. He's a little crazy, a little quirky. It started to take a turn. And now we are seeing that after his death, he's still being brought up in a lot of different respects. Right now, Michael Jackson is trending all over the world for multiple reasons. One, there's a biopic out right now that's making a ton of money about Michael Jackson. That movie is doing really, really well. And Netflix has dropped a documentary about the trial that Michael Jackson had in the early 2000s for child molestation in California. So Michael Jackson is relevant again. His music is trending on Spotify, and it is he's relevant again. So the question becomes, with that relevance, whatever happened to these cases, and is there anything else going on? And the answer is yes. Even after death, his estate is being sued by accusers of that are formerly were children around him that he allegedly sexually abused. That's what their allegation is. They stand by it. And there is a lot of information out there that we're going to kind of go through and dissect to explain where that came from. We'll go through some of the legal standings and really why it is that this, situation will not be put to bed. Yeah, no pun intended.
I mean, yeah. And also, I think there will definitely be further developments based off of whatever happens with the civil lawsuit. I think it's set for trial in 2028.
Yep.
So that'll be something I'm hoping to see more on. So we'll definitely be staying tuned. It's never gonna, like, just kind of like what you're saying. It's not going away anytime soon. Like, this is something that we're gonna continue talking about. So especially because Michael Jackson's so relevant. Like, I don't know, even my niece and nephew, they're like 5 and 6. He's not in their era, and they know Michael Jackson songs. That's because he's the Michael Jackson of pop.
He is the king of pop.
Yeah, yeah.
And there were a lot of people outside of the trial for this man when he was accused of horrible things, doing horrible things to children. There were people that camped out outside of that trial and supported him.
Yeah.
And from beginning to end. Listen, I don't know if they were paid. Some of them probably were paid. I imagine some of them were paid. Oh, yeah. He had all the money and resources, and he knew that this was part of this is a PR thing. Death.
I mean, yeah, true. But so many people mourned it. Like, he's like actually like a loved, like, I don't know, celebrity, whatever you want to call him, artist. He's just, I don't know. He's Michael Jackson.
Yeah. But
on that note,
but there are allegations that have come up about his improper behavior with children. And it is not like he has not brought those allegations on himself.
True.
In a very famous interview, he sat down, and this interview is part of the subject of the new Netflix documentary. He sat down in an interview, knew this was going to be a story that was done on him and broadcast to the world, and had a a young boy, a teenage, either early teenage or young boy sitting next to him on his shoulder, caressing his hand, holding his hand, rubbing his head. And he's talking about having children sleep in his bed with him. Other children, not his children, other children come to his house and sleep in his bed with him. And it is disturbing to hear anybody say that, let alone it be the king of pop saying that. But it's disturbing, and it would lead any person to believe maybe something else bad happened and lead to an investigation. And that's what happened. Criminally, an investigation began, and they looked into whether or not he had committed some sort of sexual abuse of the young boy young boy or boys during the times that he had them in LA at his Neverland Ranch.
Yeah. The thing is, we're never going to know because the state of California did not present a good case when they brought these counts against him, and the defense did a great job. And I know, at least in Florida, there is a jury instruction that instructs the jury, it's not about the quantity of evidence. It's not about how many witnesses you have, but how often is it that the defense is going to call significantly more witnesses than the state? You know what I mean? And that's to disprove that the state's timeline and allegations were all off and inaccurate. So, and that's just because they had the evidence to disprove it, And so that doesn't mean we know exactly what happened that night. We're literally never going to know. Or not that night, or on those nights. No,
on those nights, right.
Yeah.
Because the way that this, in a short summary, the allegations are made, the police interview one of the young boys, and allegations are made about things that Michael Jackson did to him. Those include, sexual abuse. It includes feeding him alcohol, and it includes, just a lot of inappropriate things that are on an inappropriate level and things that are also on an illegal level. All, the gamut. This young boy gives a statement to law enforcement, and that video you can, find still today. And that statement is what starts a lot of the major issues for Michael Jackson because, police start seeing smoke, and a lot of times where there's smoke, there's fire. And here there were a lot of allegations against Michael Jackson. But he, was able to hire one of the best attorneys in the country. And that attorney came in and was able to show that the ex-employees from Neverland Ranch that were coming in and testifying for the state, saying they saw really inappropriate things happening, he was able to show that they were in it for the money, or they were trying to use, they had a bad end to their relationship with Michael Jackson working for him. They had a bias. He was able to cross-examine all of these different witnesses, and the people that were in the jury were watching and they were believing what they were hearing. They were seeing inconsistencies, and we'll talk more about that. But
so just that's where it went. Some background. So in 2005, Michael Jackson is charged with 10 counts of various different sex crimes against different individuals by the state of California for, basically sexually abusing boys at his Neverland Ranch in I don't know if it's not in LA. It's in California.
It's outside
somewhere.
Of LA. A few hours outside of LA.
So the state presents witnesses, and the only witnesses to testify to the actual alleged conduct against those kids were those individuals and their families.
Correct.
And his attorney was also able to show their inconsistencies within their timeline and allegations, as well as their bias. And so that plus presenting evidence that this pattern was not exhibited against a plethora of other people that spent the night at his house with the consent of the families, despite how weird or wonky it sounds that these people were there, is not enough to prove that he is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Like, the state was unable to do that.
Right. And it's not like they had no evidence. They had evidence. You know, the testimony of the alleged victim is in itself evidence, but you have to weigh, you know, the jury has to weigh whether or not that's credible testimony. The alleged victim in the case made some statements about things that he saw at Michael Jackson's house. One of the allegations was a suitcase that had pornography in it. One of the allegations was that he was given a juice that's where that Jesus juice comes from. That, you know, Michael Jackson allegedly made him drink alcohol to lower his inhibitions or change the way that he was, you know, feeling and maybe make himself not able to be fully in control. The reason that I'm bringing that up is there were certain consistencies like that suitcase filled with pornography that they did find at his Neverland Ranch. There were different areas of the home, secret areas, staircases that led to, you know, his room that were private staircases that had keypads that were, you know, locked, and only the kids had the code and Michael Jackson had the code and none of their families had the code to get in. You know, weird things, but some of that stuff is not necessarily criminal. And that the evidence itself that they had was circumstantial at best.
Yeah.
They didn't have any, you know, they didn't have a rape kit. They didn't have DNA. They didn't have a surveillance video that showed things happening. None of that existed. And that caused a lot of problems for the state because everything came down to the credibility of their witnesses.
Yeah. And, you know, we were talking about this and the way that the state chose to present these, and I have two things to say on that. One is that just because it's weird, and I think defense attorneys always have to kind of make this argument, is like, just because it's weird or just because it's kind of like, maybe you may on a moral level not agree with these decisions that the defendant is making and his, like, what he's doing with his spare time, but it's not what he's being tried for. And so, like, you have to be able to separate that and, like, explain to the jury why it's so important to separate those things, because you should not hold those things against him to then find him guilty unless that's a contributing factor, obviously a fact that contributes along with other things to make you believe that he's guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. That's the way that you can come to that conclusion. But otherwise, that just because it's weird doesn't mean he's guilty. You know what I mean?
Correct. And that is the story of Michael Jackson's criminal case.
Yeah.
There are things that are very weird. Some of the behavior is weird, you know, but these kids, their parents all knew that he was having sleepovers and that they were sleeping in bed together. It's very, very weird, but
it's odd.
The behavior, it is not illegal.
Correct.
And that's what the question is. And the question is even more so, you take it to the next level, was his conduct during that weird time even more nefarious, even more illegal, a bigger problem?
And the other thing I wanted to say was that the way that the state chose to present this was that they were trying to show that there was a similar pattern amongst all of these accusers and the allegations that were made. And we've said this on kind of the flip side of this with other people who were super consistent. Epstein, the Alexander brothers, you know, like, these are people who were found guilty because of kind of the same way the state or the government tries to present evidence, is that these people have a pattern. They have a modus operandi. They have a motive. They have a reason to do this. And it's done over and over again so they can show that it happened on a wide scale. And so what the state chose to do is do that with the 10 counts with different accusers. But because there were so many other people that spent the night at Michael Jackson's house and did not make those accusations, that opened the door for the defense to then come in and bring all these witnesses in and testify to the fact that they stayed the night at Michael Jackson's house on X amount of occasions, and on none of those dates, they never were violated. So that is also a huge contributing factor, I think, to show that these people are even more so biased to lie in court to gain whatever, you know what I mean? Money, notoriety, whatever it is. And so, especially because like it's the only people that are testifying that are consistent within each other is the family and the accuser. Nobody else is saying like, yeah, I did see that happen, you know? And I think that makes a huge difference in the jury's mind. And when they come to, it's not like, I feel like the state really dropped the ball and kind of giving the jury something to hang their hat on to find him guilty beyond a reasonable doubt on any count. And 10 counts is a lot.
Yeah. And I think beyond that, at least from something that I got from the documentary, I don't think they did jury selection well enough, because at least one of the jurors that they were talking to sat there and was focusing more on the fact that she was in front of Michael Jackson than what was going on. And there was, in my opinion, there should have been, they should have done something to make sure that you're not getting a Michael Jackson fan sitting on that jury.
Well, you know,
in your best attempt to do that.
So many people lie on jury selection. I'm not giving the state the benefit of the doubt. I'm just saying, like, I could absolutely see somebody being like, I don't really care about Michael Jackson. I don't, you know, I know who he is, but I don't listen to his music. I don't love him. I don't hate him. And then they're like deep inside dying to get on the jury so they can sit on this 4-month trial. And they're like, oh, Michael Jackson's in front of me. Like, I'm a juror on Michael Jackson. Like, that is something they will say until they die, whether he's found guilty or not. Like, that's such a cool thing to be a part of. So I think that you can vet as much as you can, but that's why it's so important, jury selection, to really like know, like just like kind of like human behaviors. Like, I think that's when your like instincts kick in with like body language, what people like, just like kind of how people are responding and like what they're saying. And they could be saying all the right things, but you know, like sometimes people are like, yeah, I want to be here, and they're falling asleep during jury selection. Like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? I don't care that you're saying that you want to be here. You're falling asleep. So I just, you know, I'm thinking about it from like kind of all angles, and I'm like, I could absolutely see someone infiltrating that jury. And any jury with someone as major as Michael Jackson on, like, as the defendant.
Yeah. Yeah. And it, you know, I think something I want to circle back to something that you mentioned a little bit earlier. We have focused at times in different episodes on cases where there were huge amounts of evidence, and it was a large amount of accusers accusing of the exact same pattern of behavior over and over and over and over and over again. And we talked about, you know, a defense attorney could get up there and maybe shake out some of the bias on this person, shake out some of the bias on this person, shake up maybe, but we said the idea that they would get all of them and that a jury would find that they were all inconsistent didn't make sense. In this case, this was one of the times where that lawyer really went through every single person, and he was able to do that. A lot of skill, but also a ton of research and really knowing the parties and knowing the players. He, you know, one of the scenes that one of the days of trial that they talk about in the documentary, he had the brother of the accuser on the stand. And he said, you know, during direct examination, you told the court that you saw a certain pornography magazine at Michael Jackson's house and showed him a magazine and said, is this the magazine that you saw? And the guy goes, yeah, that's the magazine that they showed us. This was a magazine that I guess was already in evidence. The date on that magazine was years after the alleged accuser and his brother were ever around Michael Jackson. So this guy knew, this attorney knew everything that he needed to know, and you know, when you have the financial resources of Michael Jackson, having investigators investigate every single person, knowing the skeletons in everybody's closet gives you the ability to attack them on their bias in some respect, because every single one of the former employees at Neverland Ranch, he was able to show you've got a reason to be up here and lie, or you've got something against Michael Jackson.
Yeah. And
the jury bought it every time he did it. Yeah. And that's devastating to the prosecution, because it's no one's believing your witnesses.
Yeah.
You could get up there and have a great, powerful, direct examination where the victim is crying on the stand, or the mother of the victim is crying on the stand, telling you about how life is over and is never going to be the same. And then all of a sudden, the defense attorney gets up and with a few questions is able to make the jury go, oh, I don't even remember that person getting upset on the stand anymore or crying on the stand anymore. All I'm thinking about is how they don't have credibility.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's masterful.
Yeah, it's so true. And I think that those moments, I think, come more frequently in court than, like, I think at least, like, the details that you find for the defense, at least, more so, because, like, I don't know, maybe because the state just has the police do their investigatory work and then they're handed the investigation, right? Like, they get the body worn, they get the police reports and all these things. We have to do our own independent investigation where we're not only reviewing this, we're talking to, like, our clients, their potential witnesses, and we're looking at potential inconsistencies between what we have and the states, and comparing it and seeing, like, where can we show that there are lies here. And so, like, when you find maybe something as small as, like, a date on a magazine to be like, you were lying, like, those are, like, the moments in court. Those are, like, the TV moments in court that don't seem so kind of grand in the moment, but it's, like, the biggest deal that just happened. Yeah. It's so cool.
And a lot of that is having a team that's able to analyze the transcripts from the day before to go through the testimony, especially if trial takes a break in between somebody's testimony.
Well, this was 4 months.
Right. And I've seen in hearings of my own where we'll take a break for the day and that's in between a witness's testimony. And now you have the ability to go through whatever that witness said, analyze it, find something, or maybe something happens miraculously, or you find something in there, what they said, that the next day you can now challenge them on, and that was not something that was even in your deck of cards to begin with.
Yeah, that's
and now
so
you've
true.
got a new
trial's
new
always like developing.
Yeah.
You got to be.
That's right.
You're like always kind of just rolling with emotions, which is fun, but exhausting.
But back to Michael Jackson. So we said Michael Jackson's. It seems like he's on trial forever. We know he gets acquitted in the 2005 case.
And then he gets sued civilly.
But he gets sued civilly. And one of the things that we've also talked about on the show is the standard in a civil court is lower than the standard in a criminal court. And there are that's one of the reasons why there are prior examples of Michael Jackson paying people off and not having them sue him. This was before the other cases, because you don't want to go through the risk of a civil trial, and there's so much that comes out in civil discovery that doesn't happen in a criminal case.
True.
Not only is the burden against you a lot, the burden for the moving party is a lot lower, they also have the ability to get more. They can make you sit down for a deposition. They can make you, produce certain records that doesn't necessarily happen or
you don't have the
ever
right
happen
to
in a
remain
criminal
silent
case.
in a civil case.
So it's very different. And, unfortunately for the people that are suing him now, they can't, there's no depositions of him being taken. None of that is happening at this point because he's deceased. So they have to go with anything that is in existence currently to try to go after him with.
Yeah. So the two people that are suing him now are Wade Robson and James Safechuck. And ironically, I don't know if this is ironic, but they both previously testified under oath that Jackson did not abuse them. And Robson specifically testified for the defense at the 2005 trial, stating that. And he was saying that was a product of grooming. And now he's suing him for sexual abuse from the late 80s, early 90s. And the time frame that they were talking about in the criminal trial was 2003, 2004. So it's different time frames, but he did state in that trial that he had never been sexually abused by.
And now automatically there's an inconsistency that everybody knows about that they have to overcome. You did a pretty good job just now of overcoming that for them because you said where it was outside the parameter of time that the question was asked. And
but when you say
but
never,
if it's right, when you are definitive like that, that's a problem.
Yeah.
And they were they were definitive like that. They also, the two, Wade Robinson and James Safechuck, were the subject of Leaving Neverland, which was the HBO documentary that came out, I believe, after Michael Jackson died.
Mm-hmm. That
was about them being abused at Neverland, where Michael Jackson used to live. So, that there's money.
Yeah.
There's a lot of questions about money to be made and money to be gained in this situation.
100%. And oftentimes when people do get sued, and this is just from my experience practicing in the defense side of civil practice, is that there is often, especially when it comes to, I'm sure, even celebrities, this decision that's like, it's a business decision. Like, am I going to defend this or do I pay settlement? Because I'm going to pay up the ass in attorney's fees. And in the end, sometimes the holdup of the case is actually the attorney's fees that you're continuing to accrue just because nobody is agreeing on a settlement. So it's like, okay, I guess we're going to trial because nobody wants to pay the other's attorney's fees. And so that's after dragging out for years and after years of discovery. And so like before even getting there, the defendant has to ask the estate here, is it worth it to drag it out? And so I think, and to fight it. And I think that, obviously the estate probably has a great case. I don't know what's in all of discovery, but based off of just what we're talking about and the things that I've seen, I don't know why the estate would choose to pay. Correct.
I agree.
Because everything leading, and like for one, they don't have statements from Michael Jackson. He never testified in his criminal trial. He was never a subject of a deposition. Maybe he was subject to interviews, like you said, that were, kind of weird. But they were not pertaining to these particular individuals that are civilly suing him. So I think that when it comes down to like a civil, when the defendant in particular chooses to like fight a case in the civil world, especially when you have the means to just pay someone off and go away, you know what I mean? And not only that, like, I mean, usually settlement is supposed to be confidential.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that necessarily means anything here because this is all over the media. Yeah,
and I don't think there's any reason. I agree with you that the estate, there's no reason for them to settle this. Then they should fight and they should protect Michael Jackson's legacy.
Exactly.
I mean, the legacy is still worth something. They have the #1 movie. This is the first biopic that grossed more than $1 billion.
Oh, wow.
So this is it's a huge movie, and his estate is putting on the movie.
The estate is actually being sued, for two reasons. One, you can't sue a dead man. But
that's why the estate's being right.
But
obviously.
they're suing his companies in his estate as well. And they're suing his companies because they're alleging that they were negligent and they were not fulfilling their duty in protecting the children because this was like a part of like his work.
So they're basically trying to say that the people that worked for him were groomers or accessories or somehow turned a blind eye and should have or had some obligation to do something.
They're saying that
to protect them.
Correct, because these boys worked for his why am I going blank?
Like his personal company, his management company?
Yes. Yeah. Whatever it's the MJJ Productions and MJJ Ventures are the two companies. And so they were considered employees. And so as employees being subject to abuse, the company is supposed to be, especially, you have a duty to protect, but not only that, if there are notifications to the company, which I don't know if that I'm sure would have came out in discovery and depositions and whatever, that they had notified that there were things going on and these companies did nothing to protect these kids, then yeah, they would be subject to liability. And so not only is it like the estate for his legacy, but it's also his companies saying as a separate entity that they did not either know about this
Mm-hmm.
or that he did not engage in this conduct.
Right. And they're going to have good evidence to support that he didn't engage in the conduct.
Well, because of the inconsistencies.
Inconsistencies, right. It's amazing because it's just, like it completely changed Michael Jackson's legacy, these allegations, and it tainted it. There are people all around the world that still love him and love his music, and that's very clear right now, based on how things are going with his music being back and this movie being so huge. The biopic I'm talking about. The fact that he has such a huge presence makes people not want to believe that any of this happened to begin with. And that creates a problem for people that are trying to bring a case or bring charges against him. You're going against, somebody that's completely beloved. We've seen that happen, but we've also seen the public change. I remember Bill Cosby was America's dad. And then all of a sudden, when everything came out and when things were starting to go bad, it changed. And it's not like he lost all of his cases.
Yeah.
He had appeals that went well. He had other things that went well. So it's not like he's totally locked into guilt in those cases. Most people abandon ship.
I think it makes a difference when there has been somebody with kind of a clean record versus somebody who's been found guilty of certain things or has paid certain people off. Like Michael Jackson does not have that.
Well, he has the person he paid off. He did pay somebody off in the 90s.
I know, but
he doesn't have...
It's just so remote in time and not connected.
And the number of famous celebrities that pay people off so that lawsuits don't happen. There's a lot of reasons why they would do that. It's not just because they're saying I did whatever is being alleged.
Yeah.
So
I just think that when it comes down to it, if for instance, even P. Diddy's actually the perfect example, I think, for this. He was, how many times did he go to trial before he actually went on different things, scenarios, but he went to so many, he pled not guilty and went to criminal trials, I think 3-4 times.
Criminally in other.
And was run at trial and was acquitted every single time until this federal case. And I think he had a lesser included offense that was on another, he had pretty much gotten away with almost everything leading up to the federal case.
It's a little bit different with P. Diddy. I'm going to tell you why I think so.
Okay.
P. Diddy's image was bad guy, tough guy. His label was called
Boys.
Bad Boy Records.
Yeah.
So the image was supposed to be kind of a bad guy, kind of a little bit of a gangster.
He's embracing it.
So getting arrested built street cred for him for in certain respects. And I'm talking about him getting arrested for gun stuff back in the day, or him getting sued when he threw that big event.
Not human trafficking.
Right. Not that. Right.
Or sex trafficking.
So for him, it wasn't like he had a squeaky clean image and then got in trouble.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson didn't have DUIs or other thing. He didn't have, there was nothing else. There were no other cases. This was the only thing that was really alleged against him.
And he was acquitted on 10 counts. So you want the public to be F the king of pop, who we've been known and loved since childhood, because he was accused of something and walked out of the courthouse not guilty. If anything, that's going to deepen my love for this individual, I feel.
Not only did he walk out of the courthouse, I'm pretty sure he danced out of the courthouse on top of his car. And like I've said on another episode, some dude out there released doves when he was found not guilty.
Yeah, we need that.
I want that. That's what
on
I
our
want. That
acquittal.
in my next acquittal. I want a dude outside.
Well,
it doesn't have to be doves. It could be a few pigeons, because I'm not trying to get in trouble with any animal.
You're fish and wildlife, please stay away.
I don't want, right.
Well, yeah, that's so cool. But I think,
he's Michael Jackson. It's here's an interesting question, and that I think I may have an answer to. Is there anybody else that you can think of that could get accused like that, and still the world would do pretty much everything to.
I have a
Let
political.
me finish it though. Well, let me finish what I'm saying though. I'm not saying specifically to sex crimes. I'm saying that they would get accused of a crime, and the world as a whole, the majority of them would want to see this person be found not guilty. There's literally maybe one or two people that I can think of star-wise that fits that bill.
Who?
Taylor Swift.
Okay.
I think Taylor Swift was like charged with like some white collar shit, like a big scam or something. Mm-hmm. I think people would be like, no fucking way. We don't believe that. Yeah. We think that's not the case. She's like America's sweetheart. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And who's the other person?
Drake. Unless it was a sexual thing. If it was sexual, I think people would turn on him very quickly.
I think, yeah.
So I don't know about that.
Kendrick Lamar did call him.
Yeah, but nothing.
Yeah. But listen,
nothing came of that. He
there
released
are some
3 albums.
Diehard Kendrick fans.
Yeah, but I don't. I think, like, I'm using Taylor Swift as an example because, like Michael Jackson, they're bigger than just being. They are a big fucking deal. Yeah. And that type of person, you have people that are built in, locked in to support you. Yeah. And I'm talking because I know where you were going to go. I know. It's obvious. I know what you were going to say. But the point, that wasn't the point I was making. The point that I was making was like, is there anybody that everybody would want to find not guilty? Because in your scenario, there's a lot of people that would want to find that person guilty.
Listen, he had a free trial. It didn't even matter that we had a trial and there were convictions. Listen, We're
talking about hip-hop Michael Jackson. Okay.
Moving on.
We're not tainting this. We're talking about MJ.
You're like, shut up. We're moving on.
No, I'm not. I would never. Okay. I would never tell you to shut up and move on.
You can tell me to shut up if it's not a part of the program.
I would never do that. I don't do that. But like you said, anyways, with the most recent civil case, that case is still ongoing. So they're looking at a 2028 trial.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's 2 years from now. So that means discovery is probably very much so ongoing. There's probably still many depositions that are going to be had. So I guess we'll probably, I don't want to say definitively we'll have a follow-up episode on this, but maybe we will. If it actually does go to trial, because that would be for sure something we cover.
Here's a side thing that's pretty interesting. I brought up the Leaving Neverland documentary that was from 2019. Did you know that if you try to go find that on HBO right now, you can't? And the reason is the estate of Michael Jackson sued HBO, but they sued them over an anti-disparagement clause from the 90s. That there was some agreement that they would not disparage, I guess, Michael Jackson from the 90s. Okay. And they sued over that.
That's smart.
As a result of that, it was taken down. But I'm pretty sure it still won an Emmy, and it was a lot of people saw that, a lot of people saw that documentary.
I know, but still, now people can't go back and find it.
A little side fact, you can find it. I guess you just can't find it on HBO.
On HBO.
Yeah.
That's super interesting, and that's really wise of his legal team, because ultimately, you have a court order stating that you can't do anything after the 90s to disparage him, then anything that comes now is a violation of that court order.
Yeah.
So
that's, or they had an agreement, so it would be a violation of a contractual dispute.
Which is
So that's interesting in itself, but. And also shows you just like how much money there is in that estate.
Yeah.
They're going to legally take on whoever comes after them. And they have the means to. I mean,
they're still Michael Jackson's estate is still making money.
I said that movie crossed $1 billion. It's the first biopic to ever do that.
Is his estate making money off of it? Oh.
One of his nephews is the star.
Oh, okay. I didn't watch it, to be honest.
I have not seen it either. I don't know if they touch upon
I did my own independent research.
All the the allegations and stuff. I don't know if they even go into that.
Yeah, I don't know. But
they probably just glaze over that period. They probably just end the movie early before, like...
I have no idea.
Before his mysterious death and all the other things. Because he died mysteriously, too.
He did.
This episode is not supposed to be about any of our... conspiracy theories, but he did have a...
I don't even have
death.
One on his death.
I think the conspiracy theory around his death is that he's still alive somewhere. That's the conspiracy theory.
Why would that be the theory?
No, there's a lot of people that they have that theory about. They have that theory
Epstein.
about Tupac. Epstein.
Tupac is not alive.
Oh, I thought you were about to say Tupac is alive.
I wish.
was about to say he was alive, like living in the Bahamas.
Listen, I would love to attend a concert if he is.
Some new Tupac?
Mm-hmm. No, all his throwbacks, all the throwbacks. I would love that. That would be so cool.
He could be on a throwback tour right now. Would have been nice.
He'd be old as shit.
So what? Still go to it.
Yes, hell yeah.
Oh, I don't know. How
in his
old he would be.
50s, I think.
So we need another person we need somebody that just sits by a computer during our recording that we can just ask questions to, like a human person that puts it into ChatGPT.
Yeah.
We need a human ChatGPT.
Listen, if Chat could become my executive assistant or Claude.
Oh, well, that's correct.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, it'd be amazing. But we're not there yet.
No. I did want to talk about, because we did talk a little bit about like the difference in the burden in the civil and criminal case.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about that you can't sue a dead man, but I also wanted to mention that because it's a civil case and not a criminal case, double jeopardy doesn't attach. Like double jeopardy only attaches when you're being tried criminally for the same like charge, for the same crime, for the same act. So you cannot claim double jeopardy as a defendant in a civil case because you were previously charged for that crime.
So then that brings an interesting question as to why the families from the 2005 case
did not join in
a big lawsuit or are not joining in now. That really begs to why.
I mean, they would have to like relive and I'm not saying relive the trauma that they endured. I'm saying they would have to.
The moment that kid went on TV holding Michael Jackson's hand and leaning on his shoulder and like caressing him, that kid's life was pretty much ruined. That was it.
It's not just that though. It's so much litigation. Like litigation is so much stress.
Yeah.
Like being a part of a lawsuit, I don't know. And like maybe just having been defeated by Michael Jackson and just feeling like, oh, he has all these resources. Like, why would we even try? I don't know. I'm thinking like suing somebody's a lot of energy and money if you lose.
I agree until you look at an example like OJ, where the Goldman family sued civilly and won.
I thought of that too.
So in that respect, I think you have to relive everything and go through it all, but you got a better chance of winning because the burden's lower.
I think that's also different because there was like a dead body. You know what I mean? Like
2.
Yes, there were 2, but like I'm saying, like there was proof that there was a crime that occurred. It's a matter of who did the crime in OJ's case. Now, in Michael Jackson's case, it's did this even happen?
Yeah.
And there's so many inconsistencies and all of these things that came to light during the criminal case. Now, 20 years later, plus years later, it's going to be probably way more evidence that they could use as ammo on the defense side. So I don't know. I could see why they don't join in, but I don't understand why these two, especially the person who testified, I mean, either of them, because they both admitted that they never were ever abused by Michael Jackson and are now suing him for it. I don't know why they would ever do that. So I'm just a little confused, and I'm excited to see what the outcome of this is because...
Did you see the documentary, the Neverland one, Leaving Neverland, I think it's 2019? Did you see that documentary? I saw it. I don't remember it really, really well, but I remember walking away from it and not
continuing.
No, not. I found it like uncomfortable because the whole fucking subject matter is gross. But the like actually listening to them and seeing their allegations, even with all the production value of an HBO show, still don't fucking believe those guys.
Wow.
Don't think Michael Jackson did it. I think Michael Jackson was a strange dude.
Very.
And it did enjoy spending time with children, but I don't think it was, I don't know.
I don't know.
What do you think?
I think that I don't know why a grown man would want to have a bunch of young kids sleep in his bed. I don't know what reason. I don't know how a family would ever agree to that.
It's Michael Jackson's bed.
Don't care. My kid? Fuck no.
Would you let your kid have a sleepover at Taylor Swift's house? See, the hesitation alone.
Yeah, I would consider it. I would consider it. But I think there would definitely be... listen, I might have to be there.
Well, that's...
I wouldn't be like, see ya.
Yeah.
I would definitely be like kind of... I'm not a mom yet, but I'm going to be a crazy mom, I think. I'm going to be like a little... Not crazy, but I think I'm going to be kind of strict.
I know.
Like with sleepovers in general and stuff like that. Like, I don't know. That's like...
It shouldn't be happening.
Yeah, exactly. But like, I could see like Taylor Swift hosting like, I don't know, something for girls.
I know, but you're thinking of like, everybody's got their own like little tent and shit, exactly. And it's like really fancy, and she's just on stage. Like, she's not even near them. Like,
my daughter is going to that sleepover.
Yeah, okay, that's a little different.
But if it's like, all these girls are sleeping in my bed, no, that's not happening.
It's very weird. And he built Neverland Ranch like that. It is a place that lures children. It's all
I'm super
children activities.
Suspicious about that. I wouldn't have found him guilty based off of everything we're talking about. What would have
correct?
But do if did something maybe happen? Maybe, yeah. I could get on board with that.
Yeah,
Do I want to believe that? Hell no.
No, I don't want to believe it. And maybe that's what it is. Maybe I just don't want to believe it, and that's like I've forced myself to not believe it.
It did not happen.
No, I forced myself to not believe it type of thing. I don't know. I don't know. I don't believe some of those kids. I don't believe.
Yeah, I mean, and I also could. I mean, it could be that a lot of these families signed NDAs and do not even want to go, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Bring anything forward. And, like, these people are willing to make these claims because they want to make money, you know?
Did you ever hear Dave Chappelle talk about Michael Jackson?
I don't remember, maybe.
That he interestingly,
we're besties.
Also, he believes that the kids in the Neverland thing were lying.
But he was like best friends with Michael Jackson.
Is that a true thing?
I think so.
Oh, I didn't know that. But in any event, he certainly does not believe them.
Yeah,
and
I mean, he's going to defend his bestie.
He was. he's.
I think I did.
It's funny.
I think I did see that. It was 3 years ago.
Michael Jackson.
Yeah, I went to his show 3 years ago. It was really good, and I think he was talking about Michael Jackson.
That was that's like one of the. But he does raise a weird point. Dave Chappelle raised a very weird point about the Michael Jackson thing. And his point was that Macaulay Culkin spent a lot of time with Michael Jackson and never accused him of anything.
True. That's true. Well.
That's just...
Dave Chappelle is going to be...
I don't know if he's... I don't know
the
if he's
next investigator on...
I don't know.
So I guess that wraps up our discussion.
I think that wraps up everything on Michael Jackson for the day.
Yeah, so I guess we just need to stay tuned on what's going to happen with the civil lawsuit, because I think the court of public opinion on whether Michael Jackson is a child sex abuser is, I would say most people would say that he is not, because they don't want to believe it or whatever reason, but, you know. Despite the weird things that happen.
You think most people believe down deep that he is and they just don't want to believe it? Or you believe that most people really think he's not?
I think that people lack the awareness to acknowledge the first. And that could very well be the case. Because I don't know. I don't know. I don't know
there
how
are a lot of weirdness and
100%.
gross facts that are facts.
Yeah, that are not illegal.
And they're not illegal, but there
They're
are
just
things
weird.
that we know that we know to be facts, as in he had boys sleep in his bed.
And uncomfortable.
And that's
like
weird.
it's so
It's
uncomfortable.
beyond weird. It's
Like, I don't
it's
like
just
that.
like no, it's not okay.
It's not acceptable.
So yeah, but we'll see.
Anyways, his music's still being played on our Spotify, Apple Music, the radio, and all the things. So
Yeah.
it doesn't really matter for purposes of Michael Jackson's estate and fighting this civil lawsuit because they've got the funds to do it.
And if you're watching this episode, or you're seeing clips from this episode, we're both wearing red like Michael Jackson's Thriller jacket, not on purpose.
And you were
But
supposed
we're doing
to
it.
also make a reference.
Oh, I was going to make a reference to the South Park episode at some point in this thing. That'd be ignorant of me.
You have to, because I'm ignorant and I don't know it.
Ignorant. They're all ignorant. Well,
if you like listening, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We're on all platforms. Come back with a warrant.pod and make sure you join us on our newsletter for our weekly gems. Subscribe at the link below. And if you didn't like listening to us,
come back with a warrant.
Make the most of the last weeks of summer and keep your car ready for every mile ahead. Stop by Valvoline Instant Oil Change for a 15-minute drive-through oil change. Stay comfortably in your vehicle while trusted technicians change your oil and check your tires, lights, and essential fluids. No appointment ever needed. Just drive in and get back on the road. Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Visit BayAreaOilChange.com for coupons. That's BayAreaOilChange.com.